And we continue at 1:05 in the afternoon on the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wang's in New Mexico.
John, yesterday the feds descended upon Oakland to make some major arrests in a criminal ring that was stealing fuel up and down the state. That's right, they were stealing gasoline, which, if you remember, was the original crime that led to this drop.
If the cashier is dummy.
Oh, yes. How could we ever forget that? All right. Well, we know that public transit in California is not the desired way of getting around for a variety of reasons. First and foremost, it's not safe. How often do we do stories about the MTA, the BART, you name it, where someone gets robbed, someone gets stabbed, someone gets raped, someone gets murdered? A lot of bad things happen on those trains, buses, and subways. But it's not just that. We also know that it's not reliable, that because the copper wire theft in particular is so bad, the entire system will go down, whether it happens in Sacramento, the Bay Area, wherever. And if you are relying on that system to get to work on time, and the system goes down on a regular basis, you are not going to be a reliable employee. So if you're a reliable employee, you find alternate means of transportation. And right now, public transit is in trouble economically. They're looking for bailouts. They're looking for more money. They're looking for any way they can stay afloat. And they understand that they have a bad public image right now, and they're trying to let you know that they are working on it.
And that is why BART spent a whole bunch of money putting together a report trying to figure out why BART went down so many times last year.
Well, I could tell you why.
And why's that?
I just did. It's because of crackheads, and it's because of the inability of the people who work there and the electeds in California to deal with the crackheads who are stealing the copper wire and causing the system to go down.
Now, shockingly, when it comes to BART, that's not it. Actually, the reason the system kept going down is because BART was too cheap to do basic maintenance.
Well, I'm sure that's true, too.
For more, here's NBC in the Bay.
Tonight, we are getting new insight to all those BART meltdowns that started in late summer and continued into last month, thanks to a $1.5 million root cause analysis.
Wait, BART had to spend $1.5 million to figure out why their system keeps going down?
They're not good at being on time, but they are good at spending money.
Outside engineers looked at a total of 9 incidents over more than 4 months that led to serious BART delays or even shutdowns. First was in late August, involving sparks flying at the Montgomery station. The sparking and electrical flashing continued through the fall, and then you see 3 nearly identical issues in a row. Insulator flash, one each in October, November, and December. Our investigative unit first told you about the recurring insulator explosions during that time. And reporter Jackson Vanderbecken joins us now to explain what the BART study found that connects most of those incidents together. So, Jackson, they were saying...
You hear all of that and all of these explosions that happened for 4 months, back to back to back to back to back. And the fact that anybody is still getting on those trains just tells you how awful the freeways are in the Bay Area.
Well, and it's also pathetic because we are the home of Silicon Valley. We have the smartest minds on planet Earth in this state, and we just allow problems like this to exist without fixing it right away.
So, Jackson, they were saying that 7 of the 9 had to do with the environment in the tunnels or tracks. What does that even mean?
Well, they call it an environmental factor. In this case, it could be one of 2 things, basically. It could be water intrusion, leaks, moisture, or in this analysis, it appears the clearer point here is that there's dust, what they call dirt or grime, whatever you call it. It's basically metallic material that's depositing over time onto these insulators. They're ceramic devices, and that's what can cause flashover events.
And this is something that BART used to spend money on to regularly clean and make sure that there wasn't any debris or dust that could start a fire when you've got a train going over it. But when COVID happened, they decided we don't need to pay for that.
Of course not.
Okay, so they're talking about water, possible water, dust. Has BART started cleaning that dust at all?
Yes, according to this analysis, they have indeed started or restarted cleaning. They stopped back in 2020.
And has anyone asked why they would stop cleaning something that is necessary for safety?
Were they afraid that the dust would give the cleaners COVID?
Okay.
And what they do is they just pressure wash these insulators to keep the dust from sparking short circuits and fires.
Okay, very eye-opening study for sure, findings. And Jackson, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
So this one wasn't copper wire theft. One of them was they installed a software update, and that screwed up the entire system. But the most of the BART shutdowns that happened in 2025 were simply because they stopped paying to clean the tunnels.
What's wild is you talk to people in other cities. You talk to people in Vienna, Austria, where they have amazing public transit. You talk to people in Sydney, Australia, Japan, wherever. They don't have these problems. And we have the people that create the technology that all of them use. I don't get it. Well, it's not just public transit that's not reliable here in the state. Electricity is also something that's not reliable. And some people in San Francisco are very upset about it. And specifically, Randy, they're upset at PG&E.
That's because there were all those PG&E blackouts in December where businesses were without power for days on end, which means that if you're a restaurant, you're about to lose all of your inventory. So many other businesses lost so much money and so much business during those power outages. And PG&E has said, how about a check for $2,500? And that is why a lot of businesses, specifically in the Sunset, are lawyering up and suing PG&E. For more, here's KTVU, Fox 2.
Businesses in San Francisco's Sunset District say they're planning on filing a lawsuit against PG&E following those widespread power outages last month. KTVU's Christian.
Boy, I got to imagine if you're the attorney on retainer for PG&E, you will never not be without work.
Oh, no, because your company is never going to stop lighting people on fire or causing the lights to go out.
KTVU's Christian Captain joins us live from San Francisco. And Christian, organizers of the suit say dozens of businesses have signed on so far.
Yeah, the organizers of that lawsuit, as you said, saying now that PG&E has not offered nearly enough to cover their losses. And now they're saying they're going to go to court to get what they say they're owed.
Businesses along Irving Street in San Francisco's Sunset District say they're still recovering following the power outages that blanketed half the city in December. PG&E has offered $200 credits to residential customers and
That's it?
I'm telling you, man, this company, they're not honest brokers. They did the same thing to the fire victims after they burned Paradise alive. They tried to pay them in company stock. Remember that?
Well, this is the thing that happens when you have a monopoly. And whether it's PG&E in Northern California or SoCal Edison in Southern California or SDG&E in San Diego, these energy utilities are monopolies, and they have no reason to do right by the ratepayers because you do not have another option.
And don't forget, when Gavin Newsom got in trouble for being at the French Laundry when the rest of us were locked inside, he was there celebrating the birthday of the lobbyist for PG&E.
And $2,500 credits for commercial customers. Tina Zhang, who owns 2 businesses, including Irving Seafood Market, said that's not new.
Oh boy, can you imagine what the seafood market smells like when the power goes out?
I don't even want to think about it.
Tina Zhang, who owns 2 businesses, including Irving Seafood Market, said that's not nearly enough to cover what she says she's lost.
Because I have 2 stores, I calculated, I think more is more than 10,000. Yeah.
Zhang is among the
$10,000 of spoiled fish.
Well, she must have been moving a lot of lobster.
Zhang is among the 50 or so businesses that are signing on to a lawsuit aimed at getting PG&E to pay more to cover their losses following the power outage.
They filled out and signed a petition calling on PG&E to increase their credit from $2,500 to $5,000. For individual homes, $200 to $500.
We'd be delighted.
Organizers of the suit have picked up the support of former supervisor, state senator, and retired judge Quentin Kopp, who said PG&E has failed to address customers' needs, and now those customers have no choice but to take their case before a judge. He said the longer the delays,
the higher.
Oh, get ready for the most cantankerous voice you've ever heard.
I like this guy, Quentin Kopp.
He said the longer the delays,
the higher the cost to PG&E eventually, either by settlement in San Francisco Superior Court or by trial before a jury of 12 San Franciscans.
PG&E offered.
Quentin Kopp still ticking.
He was the father of high-speed rail, and boy, did he turn on the high-speed rail project in California once he realized it was a boondoggle.
PG&E offered the bill credits following the power outage and has asked businesses to document their losses and send it to the utility for reimbursement.
You know what that woman should do with the seafood market? She should send all that stinking fish to PG&E.
Well, as long as she doesn't send it to that woman in San Jose who got all the defective car seats.
PG&E also says it has customer service representatives who speak a variety of languages to serve every community. And the $200 for each residential customer and $2,500 for businesses, the utility says that is just a starting off point.
Sure it is.
Wait a minute. So these people lost $10,000. Let's just take the seafood restaurant as one example. And they're offering $2,500. And they say, well, but don't worry about it because we have a lot of people who speak a lot of languages in res. So if you need to call up and you need to talk to someone in Klingon, don't worry about that. We have a call center in Manila where they're very familiar with that language.
Sunset residents and businesses said they've filled out paperwork and said they've received minimal contact since then.
And shocker.
Boy, PG&E has a brand that they never deviate from.
Why would they? They have no reason to.
And still have not received payment. And yet PG&E is saying that they are resolving claims quickly. So that's not our definition of quick.
And of course, we have a regulator that could hold PG&E accountable for this kind of failure, but the CPUC is made up of former executives of PG&E that were appointed by Gavin Newsom, so there's no help there.
You know, the CPUC is really lucky that Ricardo Lara exists, because if he didn't exist, all the heat would be on them.
Trailblazing is rarely comfortable, yo.
We did reach out to PG&E, and the utility released a statement reading, quote, "We're actively meeting with and supporting our customers, and we continue."
No, you're not.
It's just one of these things where the truth doesn't matter. As long as you say the right thing, you check the right box.
Continue to process claims.
This is like SoCal Edison in Altadena claiming that they should get a pat on the back for offering lowball offers to people whose houses they burned down.
Good job, SoCal Edison.
Continue to process claims related to this outage as quickly as possible. At the same time, we have no information regarding any lawsuit. The utility said it usually takes about 30 days to settle a claim, and so far they've received more than 2,400 claims. PG&E saying about 70% of those were resolved within 13 days. Organizers of that lawsuit saying that they're planning on filing that suit in court on Monday. We're live in San Francisco. Christian Cafton, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Yeah, the case will continue to follow ongoing frustrations. Christian, thank you.
And because Quentin Kopp wants to be the face of this lawsuit, expect him to be all over the TV airwaves for the next few months.
In what other aspect of life can you get away with something like this? Where your negligence causes provable harm to businesses, to residents, to everyone in the community, and some of them have the receipts to prove just exactly how much money it cost them, and you come in with some lowball arbitrary offer that you came up with. It's not like some independent arbiter came in and said, all right, give him this amount. No, it's just a number that you pulled out of the sky, and you say, this is what we're offering you. We're the good guys here. You think you could get away with that if your negligence cost the state of California money? You think they'd just say, oh, okay, well, it costs us $1 million, but you're offering us 4 cents. I guess we have to accept. No, that's not how it works. Try doing that with one of your neighbors. You do something stupid that results in, oh, I don't know, you running your car into theirs, and their car is now inoperable, and they have no transportation, and you go, here's a gift card to Uber. I think we're okay, right? They're going to look at you like you're on drugs. And you might be. But that's what they do, and they get away with it time and time and time again. And I get it if you're a Caribbean island somewhere in the middle of the ocean and the power goes in, the power goes out. That's just what's going to happen. What are you going to do? You're literally an island. I would expect a certain amount of that if I lived in St. Croix. But we live in the largest state in the union. How is it that we don't have reliable public transit and reliable power? And no one seems to care. It's not like any of these people running for governor or say, I'm going to fix that. Here's a novel idea. I'm not going to Davos. I'm going to make sure the woman selling the oysters doesn't have to throw them all out. I'm going to make sure that if you take the train to work, you're going to get there in time with your head still on your body. And it's like it's just not regarded as relevant at all. This is what local government is supposed to do. And it doesn't happen. And they act like it's just one of these problems. It's not fixable. So we just all have to find alternate means. It's a hell of a way to run a state. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. Here's an idea. We just told you about BART spending $1.5 million on a study trying to figure out why they're so damn unreliable. They're not the only public transit system in the state of California that's unreliable. We've seen unreliable Sacramento, unreliable Los Angeles, unreliable San Diego. It's a problem that is plaguing the entire state. For those of you who use public transit, who don't use it anymore, what was the straw that broke the camel's back for you? Was it an incident involving public safety where someone robbed you or something violent happened in front of you and you said, nope, that's it for me. I'm going to buy a car. Was it getting in trouble at work because you were late all the time? Was it missing a flight? Was it missing something that was very important to you? I'm curious to find out from those of you who used to use public transit, who don't use it anymore, why did you stop using it? 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222, 800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, we're going to Long Beach soon.
It's coming up. Save the date because we want to see you. I know we just had a live remote, but we need to have another one because they're just so much fun. Join us for a live broadcast at Gladstone's in Long Beach on Friday, February 6th from noon to 3. We're heading to Gladstone's in Long Beach for our next live broadcast, and you're invited. Come enjoy the great food, good vibes, great people, and a fun afternoon by the water. We'll have a lot of special guests, including Susan Shelley from the Howard Jarvis Taxpayer Association. She'll tell you more about your taxpayer rights and protecting Prop 13. As the courts have made it easier to raise your taxes, we need you to come by and sign the petition to save Prop 13. The deadline is coming fast. Susan needs all those signatures by February 17th, so if you haven't done so already, go to saveprop13.com, and if you have done so, get your friends, get your family, get your neighbors to do it as well. Come hang out with us, grab a bite, and be part of the broadcast Friday, February 6th from noon to 3 at Gladstone's in Long Beach.
BART just spent $1.5 million to find out why they're so unreliable. I want to talk to those of you who used to use public transit in California and don't anymore. What was the straw that broke the camel's back? What made you stop using public transit in California? 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. Let's begin with Bob in San Francisco. Bob, hello. Bob, are you there, sir?
All right. So I stopped riding the public transit because, I got onto a loaded train on my way home from work, found a place to sit, and a homeless guy came in. Packed train, standing pretty much only, and the guy started smoking meth next to me. I asked him not to. He kept smoking meth, so I slapped the pipe out of his hand, and it was like a 1950s movie. You could hear the record skip. Everybody looked at me like I was the bad guy and made me get off at the next stop. So I'm done with him.
Wait, they kicked you off?
Yeah. Yeah, well, the passengers did. They were looking at me like I was the bad guy because I smacked the pipe out of the guy's mouth.
What's wild is, how much do you want to bet if he lit up a Marlboro Light, they would all jump on top of him and kick him off the bus?
Oh, I guarantee they would.
Unreal. Smoking meth in the bus, you're the one that stops it from happening, and you're the bad guy.
Of course. That's how this kooky place works.
All right. Thank you for the call, sir. Let's go to John in San Rafael. John, hello.
Hello there. I've ridden BART, Muni, pretty much every public transit in the Bay Area, and two things stuck out. One, I'd get sick all the time. I just get sick all the time. And as soon as I stopped riding, I stopped getting sick. And the second thing was, I actually ran the numbers. It was cheaper in a lot of cases to own and ride a motorcycle.
Yeah, I bet that's true. It may be safer, too.
Well, I'm not getting crack smoke in my motorcycle helmet, that's for sure.
Generally speaking, if you do the opposite of what the government tells you to do, that's when you're going to be healthier and you're going to be safer. I remember I used to swim with a group on the weekends, and they used to swim in the water not very far from LAX and Los Angeles' South Bay. And we would go from the Hermosa Beach Pier to the Manhattan Beach Pier. And it's about a 2-mile swim. I would get sick every single week. I would have these weird rashes. I would get eye infections. I would get ear infections. And I would always check before I got in the water to make sure it was safe. And the county of Los Angeles would always say, oh, yeah, it's safe, it's safe, it's safe. Go in the water, have fun, bring your friends, bring your family, stay in all day. Nothing bad's going to happen to you. And then the moment I stopped doing that, it is the moment that all of those infections just went away.
That's pretty much exactly the way it was for me, too. And the motorcycle afforded me a lot more freedom.
All right. Thank you for the call, sir. Let's go to Helen in Newark. Helen, hello.
Hello, and thank you. The final straw for me was when I actually traded punches with a man, big, tall, at least 6'4", and he had on one of those black garbage bags. So long story short, he was doing something to me. I hit him. He was squared off to hit me, and I did not know the attendant, one of the behind the BART person, literally sauntered over. She sauntered over and said, "He's trying to tell you the ticket's stuck." And I said, "Well, he's not saying anything. He can't talk. He's grunting." So all I knew, there was an arm grabbing my hand and arm forcefully and a grunting noises. I turned around and there's this big giant man, about 6'4". Anyway, yeah, it was pretty. But the most ridiculous part was how she was just observing this and obviously knew this character. This was at the Oakland West station. So I figured this out. Okay, what are my options? And so I just went on my way. She says, "Where are you coming from?" I said, "What does that have to do with it?" Anyway, so I knew then it was a no-win situation. But I punched him back good, so that was it.
Well, if someone grabs you really hard and you don't know the person and they just start grunting at you, I think it's safe to assume that unless you act, something really bad is going to happen to you.
And that's why I hit him. And, so it was just ridiculous. But anyway, that was the last straw. I'd had other attempted robberies. Someone tried to trip me going down an escalator. I mean, it was just, you take your life in your hands on it. It's just nasty. So one person called it a homeless shelter on wheels, and it's dangerous. So, yeah, that was it.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're safe and sound. Thank you for the call. Let's go to Rick in Palo Alto. Rick, hello.
How you doing, John and Randy? Back in the day in BART, we used to ride it as kids up to the A's games and the Warrior games. Never had an issue. About 2 years ago, all my buddies called and said, "Hey, we got tickets to the races. Do you want to take BART up there?" And this is 4 guys getting on the BART train down there in Fremont, and it was an absolute disaster. I mean, people sleeping on seats. And, I looked at my buddy and said, I have money, man. I'll just take Uber up there. I mean, it was absolutely disgusting. Smelled, no security anywhere. It was like Mad Max. I mean, it was unbelievable. And we got off at the next stop, and I hit my Uber phone. It was $43. We took a Tesla Uber X, and that was 2 years ago. I wouldn't go on a BART train if they were free.
The experience that you just described on BART with all of the chaos and all of the drug addicts and all of the fighting and the problems sounds like Spirit Airlines, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And what's scary is even my buddy looked over and said, "Hey, how about if it was your mom or your wife, trying to get home from work?" I mean, he looked at me and he actually said the word. He said, "Dude, this is like Mad Max." I mean, we're 4 guys getting off the train to get in an Uber. I mean, can you imagine 2 ladies on the way home from shopping or something? I mean, it was disgusting. And I thought to myself, there's no security. If something happened, we may be in some trouble.
It sounds like you were more threatened on the train to the Raider game than at the Raider game, which is hard to do. Thank you for the call, sir. Let's go to Lionel in L.A. Lionel, hello. Lionel, are you there, sir?
No, Lionel.
All right. Let's go to Freedom in Avalon. Freedom, hello.
Hello, how you doing? Good to hear from you guys. I really appreciate your show. So I live in a small town. And I think, coming from a small town, I wouldn't get on one of those those public transits just because it's scary to even hear about it. I mean, we listen to the reports of the freeway reports just for like entertainment. I mean, there's a ladder in the road. I mean, the stuff the way you guys put that out there, you got to kind of laugh at this stuff. I mean, cynicism is like something that's kind of like a medicine nowadays because it's just so crazy, man. I was trying to get you to do that earlier. You could play that guy. That was hilarious. But it's not gonna change until sound minds fill those chairs that the crazy people are sitting in up in Sacramento. I mean, we're getting we're getting the same thing over because repetition repeats itself when you don't change things up, So what I'm saying is that public utilities, state lands commission, coastal commission, those state commissions, they're all corrupt. I'm telling you. The years that I've run for city, I've run for council, mayor, all things like that 8 different times. I understand it's a thankless and gauntlet to go through. Just the process of it. Running 8 times, you got to either be crazy or you just care a lot and you just see a helpless situation that needs to change. I was finally elected in 2014 and I served till 2018. And it made me a better man. It made me a smarter man. But, I had 2,000 friends going into that election. I had 24 coming out of it. And that's just the way it's going to be. It really is true. I'm telling you guys, it's a miserable place to be. But we have to fill those chairs. City manager positions, educational positions, city council positions, the mayor. We got to sit in those chairs, guys. I mean, I hear so many intelligent callers call your show, and I've said this every time I call in is like, I wish those people would run. I wish they'd get involved. I mean, it doesn't take a smart man. It just takes a sensible man. I wasn't the dumbest guy in school. I was the dumbest guy. I wasn't the dumbest guy in class. I was the dumbest guy in school. And I was always the smartest man on the dais. That should tell people something. And the intelligent people, if they did get involved and just didn't like teach us from your show, that would be great. Because I hear a lot of really smart people call in. You can tell. And I can also tell they've never run for council. But anyway, I want to let you guys know I really appreciate it, and I wish you would play that guy. This is crazy, man.
That is crazy.
Yes. You know what? When you come, you guys said you've never been to Avalon. If you come here, I would be happy to give you a private tour. But also bring your swim trunks. And we got clean water here. I'm an open ocean swimmer. And you guys can swim here, and I'm telling you, it's beautiful. You just jump in, you go, you come back, and you're a better person for it. So bless you guys for what you do.
Well, back in the old days, Ronald Reagan used to call Cubs games there. The Cubs used to do spring training in Catalina Island, and Ronald Reagan was the broadcaster. Yeah. All right. Thank you for the call, sir. I appreciate it. Okay. Let's go to Morris in Commerce. Morris, hello.
Good afternoon. A couple of days ago, we talked about the red light camera tickets. Well, where the lady had her photograph taken, was shown on KKL Channel 9. That's the subway station there, the red line, they used to call it. At any rate, you can't go on that red line. You got all the crazy, the drug addicts. The police on the platform there, I said, why don't they ride the cars themselves? They're not allowed to. And once you go in the cars, I've seen everything, smoking crack cocaine, yelling. They're turning on the loud ghetto radios. And then there's some people going on there vending or selling merchandise on the cars. And if you don't buy their pens, they start to get angry. And you complain to the police. They don't do anything about it. And it's dangerous to ride the cars, period. All right, so I'm near there. I'm not too far from there, yet I don't want to ride the subway car. It's a horrible feeling, and the police don't do anything. I don't even know why we're paying them to stand around there on the platform. And they got these stupid security guards there that are useless. that walk around there with a uniform, and I don't know what they're doing even, but they don't ride the cars, and the crazies are on there. With them people, most of them, the elevator don't go to the top. And they go crazy when they're in the subway car. Nothing is done about it, so why ride it? It's just too dangerous. I'd like to see every politician to take away them cars. Every politician is mandatory to ride to work them subway cars and the bus themselves to ride it and to try to see what's going on directly. And so you're scared of getting your head knocked off. And these people go crazy, and I've seen them pulling knives. I've seen it over nothing, too. I mean, it's just out of control. So you take it for what you want. They don't do anything about it, and whatever goes, goes. So I just leave it at that, and I stop riding it. And I'm not too far from there either, and not too far from that red light camera, which they showed that obviously is active. So take it from there. It's just horrible to ride the transit here. They don't care. They got your taxes, and that's it. So the money just goes to waste.
All right. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. Let's go back to the phones and welcome Steve listening online in Idaho. Steve, welcome.
Hi. You know, the number one reason why I finally stopped was you and Randy, because you provide such outstanding, almost daily information about what a totally broken, failed system that it is, and then all the interviews you did with transit members who refused to take it as well. And I'm just going, oh. And then what really helped, I had a meeting in L.A., and I thought, okay, I'll take the blue line up. And so you got to keep your head on a swivel. And then a friend of mine that I worked with, he took a later train up there, and so he's like a super lib, and he goes, we should all be taking public transit. And so he gets up there, and he's all pissed off, and he's got a nice suit on, and his pants are all wet because he sat in a seat full of pee. and so,
oh no!
So I go, how's your holiday going? He goes, I'm taking a Uber back, and I'm never going to be on that thing. And I go, oh, so you're going to pull your white privilege card. So, in fact, you guys were so convincing. I sold my house and moved out of state, so I'm in the middle of nowhere now, and every day is magnificent. You know, it's like California. They'd screw up an iron ball, and it's like every day is a new opportunity to do something stupid. And I went, darling people, but they're not capable of voting for anything that's effective. They're not capable of doing an audit because audits are racist. So I just went, oh, but my wife teases me because she goes, you listen about California every day with John and Randy. And I go, I know, it's like a train wreck, and I can't quit watching.
Well, we're sorry to lose you, but thank you to keeping us on your radio, or I guess your computer, or however it is that you listen. We appreciate you calling in as well.